All right, good morning, TGIF. Welcome to the program. How is everybody today? So here's the thing. I saw people say, yay, we got sound. There was a problem. It said Facebook wouldn't air my program. So I stopped it and restarted it, and there it did. You tell me. Leave the military alone. Let them do their job. They're going to root out extremism. That's what the goal is. Holy mackerel, kids. Good to have you here this morning. My name is Nick Stewart. This is Sunrise Santa Rosa. Telephone number to call, 850-771-0049. And we're ready for your phone calls. Okay. There you go. We'll do it. I'm concerned every time. Every day I get up, I'm like, I don't know, are they going to let us do the show? But it said that it wouldn't go on Facebook to go and check their terms of service. So that before I panic, I'm going to stop it, start it again. Here we are. Maybe I invoked their name too many times yesterday. I don't know. But anyway, good to have you here with us today. It's just insanity. It's life. It's my life. Forecast for today. Cloudy with showers, high near 61. Chance rate 70%. Tonight, showers this evening becoming steady rain overnight, low near 46. The chance of rain overnight 70%. And then tomorrow, overcast with rain showers at times, high near around 55. The chance of rain tomorrow 60%. It's 61 in Milton. 63 Gulf Breeze, 62 Navarre, 63 at Pensacola. Welcome to the madness. We got a lot to do today. The disguised truth. They want to root out any Trump supporters in the military. Yeah. Well, yeah, where have you been? I know, it does feel like we're on the dark web. And I never thought I'd feel at home there, but here I am. Good to have you with us today. All right, so we got as every day. It just piles up, but we got a lot to cover. Let's do it. State lawmakers are preparing for the 2021 Florida legislative session. District 2 Representative Alex Andrade, there he is with his hand on his hip, looking very. I like Alex. I'm not mocking him. I just he always has that stance. He always has that stance. He shared his thoughts on this year's priorities and challenges. The elephant in the room is obviously the budget crunch we'll be facing this year. He said we'll be looking at between $2 and $4 billion loss to revenue that the Florida legislature is going to have to figure out how to balance. And with the budget shortfall in that range of $2 to $4 billion, when we have about $92 billion budget, it's going to be a significant hit. And on top of that, because of all the constrictions from COVID-19 and our workforce, we as a state are going to have an additional $1 billion in required spending in the state match for Medicaid recipients because so many people are now on Medicaid. Andrade expects that the lion's share of the hole in the budget will be filled with cuts. And that's okay. Budget cuts are okay. Are they comfortable? No. But most of us would not see a problem in the state with budget cuts anyway. Most of these, you could get rid of most unnecessary spending with pet projects. But I don't, who knows what they'll cut. But look, here's the thing. If you have a budget shortfall at your house, someone loses a job, you get whatever, laid off or sick, you make cuts. You do. And it's okay that the state has to do that. And I think that's fine. Don't panic, Alex. It'll be fine. 2 teenagers are accused of shooting into a Pace home several times with 8 kids and 3 adults inside. 8 kids. What are you thinking? Here is this miscreant. Byron Haynes, 18 in Milton, is charged with aggravated assault and weapons offense. He was arrested January 25th He's being held in the Santa Rosa County Jail without bond. 17-year-old Larry Carlos Jennings was arrested Thursday. He faces the same charges as Haynes, but they don't have his picture yet. The incident happened on January 23rd at 3:15 a.m. at a home in the 8800 block of Byram Campbell Road in Pace. Santa Rosa County deputies were called to the home after the drive-by shooting. Upon arrival, they confirmed that no one in the home was injured, which is a good thing. The report states 8 kids and 3 adults were inside the home at the time of the shooting. At least 6 bullet holes in the home, as well as shell casings in the road. Multiple bullets traveled into rooms where kids were sleeping. An adult at the home said he woke up to gunshots, ran to check on the kids immediately. He noticed a dark-colored vehicle speeding away. One of the juveniles in the home told deputies he'd exchanged messages with Haynes and Jennings on social media earlier in the day. He said the teens made gun threats toward him. He said he wanted to fight Haynes and Jennings. He added he knew that they were coming. He knew that they were coming that night. Did you tell anybody? Did you warn anybody? I don't know. Kids. Glad they got him. Jeff says balanced budget by having a special tax for any person moving here from California, New York, or the like. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. Tax the rich. Which means you. No, I know we're not rich, but they think we are. It changes every day. Santa Rosa County Commissioners last night decided to unlock a gate which Commissioner David Peach had unilaterally directed staff to erect at Holly Point boat ramp, blocking access to citizens. Additionally, James Broxson, owner of the Broxson Outdoors, was asked to head up the committee to address the issue. So it's now unlocked, as it should be. Did anyone think that would just kind of slide without anybody noticing it? I think that was the hope, but it's now open. This is kind of interesting. Kim, you're going to like this one, so pay attention. Put the donut down. Usually a shelter cat's naturally sweet and loving personality is more than enough to inspire family to adopt him into their hearts. When it came to this particular cat, it was lacking in those qualities, and the Santa Rosa County Animal Shelter decided to take a different approach. It says, are you looking for an affectionate and loving new friend to snuggle with? It's probably not this guy. This is Willard. Willard is old. He's a grouch, they wrote on the post. Willard was brought into the shelter as a stray last September. It didn't take long for Willard's rescuers to understand that he plays by his own rules. He likes to be petted, but only sometimes. Head rubs, allowed until they're not. Then you are firmly reprimanded, the shelter wrote. Do you want to tell him where to sleep? Willard laughs at your ignorance. Willard is beholden to no man or woman. The shelter's description of Willard, aimed at finding him an adopter, doesn't hold back on the unflattering caveats. Basically, Willard wants things done his way. If you're willing to be owned by a crabby old ginger who may or may never show his thanks, please let us introduce you. Willard has this final say, though. Good luck. The post went viral, and the owner happened to see the post and said, oh, that's my cat. And went and provided proof that it was her cat, and she was connected back. And they said his attitude changed when he saw her. But she said he's been missing for a year. But that is absolutely hysterical, and I love the work that the Santa Rosa County Animal Services does. Great people, great folks, and go adopt. They do a wonderful job. Thank them. They give those cats to junkyards in Lafayette as mousers. Yeah. Kim says, I met that cat the day his owner came to get him. That is it's pretty wild. That's a wild story. I think that's hilarious. Oh, well. But I'm glad the cat is home. Too funny. Sheriff Johnson made a $10,000 donation to the Santa Rosa Kids House, and I think this is awesome and great great that they did this. Let me move this up so you can see it. That's a big check. I like big checks, and I cannot lie. The sheriff utilized proceeds from the Law Enforcement Trust Fund, where dollars are collected from criminal activity. The mission of the Santa Rosa County Kids House is to deliver well-coordinated and multi-disciplined response to child abuse in an environment that puts the needs of children first. And that's a great cause. And that is a nice check for $10,000. Very good. Thank you, Sheriff Johnson. It is a great cat story. What is folk life? What is that? Unless that's a spam. Somebody check that out for me, if you can. All right. Who knows what folk life is? We get weirdness. 2 Indiana men were arrested for beating a Navarre Condos employee after accusing him of being a narc. Here's the miscreants. The incident happened January 27th at Summerwind Condos on Gulf Boulevard. The Indiana men, Virgil Tharp, he looks like a Virgil, and Noah Kernickick, 31, are charged with felony battery. They were released from Santa Rosa County Jail on $7,500 bond. According to the report, the condos employee responded to the room the men were staying in 4 times that day for nuisance complaints. The report states that during that time, the employee was walking with Tharp and Kirsenik, I don't know what it is, to the door to unlock it. Both accused him of being a narc and a cop, and then they started punching him. Surveillance video shows the punch. They punched the employee to the ground, and both men continued to beat him while he was on the ground. They got video. Great. Folk life. I don't know who you are. All right. Channel 3 has been looking into some concerns about unexpectedly high Gulf power bills. A Gulf Power customer who received a massive Gulf Power bill said Thursday has been adjusted. Remember, we talked about it. He received a $2,500 power bill when it's usually like $170. And they said, oh, your usage is up. You don't go from 1,000 kilowatt hours to 20,000 kilowatt hours. I don't care what the weather is. You don't do it. In January, he got a bill for more than $2,500. Now, the company adjusted his bill to $198. You go from $2,500 bill, where they say it's your usage, down to $198, and they don't give any explanation whatsoever. What does that tell you? Whoops. Doggone it. Why only $7,500 bond? Bad day or bad judge? Probably both. Okay. So someone delete folk life for me, please. Yeah. But if you get a crazy high power bill, fight it. Northwest Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz is making national headlines for defending former President Donald Trump by standing by allegations of voter fraud in the 2020 election. But a Republican PAC is fighting back against Gaetz. Multiple billboards encouraging Gaetz to resign have been spotted across Northwest Florida. They read, "You lied about the election. The election was attacked. Rep. Gaetz resign." It's part of the Republican Accountability Project. That is not a Republican PAC. It's not. The project's $1 million campaign is asking GOP lawmakers to resign following their actions since the 2020 election. They put up similar signs against Ted Cruz in Texas. Yeah, that's not Republican. The GOP has huge problems. I think the GOP has perceived problems. I do not think that they do have problems. Yes, Kate, we can see your comment. You are there. So, but these groups try to change the dynamic. What about the problems on the left? And they're not saying anything about that. If you get a crazy high electric bill, Florida Public Service Commission phone number is 800-225-3552. There you go. Thank you, Donna. All right. After low turnout at a pair of virtual public forums in late January, 2 additional town halls hosted by the Pensacola Citizens Police Advisory Committee offered another chance for residents to share their thoughts. But only 10 people attended the first of those 2 town halls. 2 residents, including a law enforcement expert, Cedric Alexander, offered input on the new chief, saying the role needs to be filled by a person who understands the importance of diversity and the need to build trust within the community. Listen, I want you to hear this. This is what happens when people don't show up. You get the extremists that show up. Anita Hemphill, a former Escambia County Sheriff's Office deputy, told the Citizens Police Advisory Committee that she's had personal experience when it comes to lack of diversity in law enforcement. Hemphill, who says she was the second ever black woman to earn the rank of lieutenant at the ECSO, stressed that deputies need to understand how to communicate with minorities. That's how you communicate the same with everybody. You need to learn how to communicate with minorities. They need to understand that when a white officer approaches a black male and that black male was already offended by his approach, and the black male does this, she said, clapping her hands together, the black male's not getting hostile. He wants to be heard. And the officer needs to understand that. He's already offended by the approach of the officer. So what? So what? We do not need to adjust law enforcement to you. You adjust the law enforcement. It's the law. What would happen if the cop would come up and I started doing that? I caught an attitude right away. Why are you offended? Because you approached me. Come on, people. Come on. Hemphill said that if a community trusts the men and women who police their neighborhoods they call home, those officers can do their jobs more effectively. Then why don't you try to get along with law enforcement and do the right thing? What? Someone get rid of Folk Life, please. It's so stupid. I don't know. Learn to show respect, right? If you got an officer approaching you, show respect. If you approach a black man, if you're a white officer, you approach a black man, and he's got an attitude about you approaching him, that's his problem. And he starts clapping his hands like this. It doesn't mean he's hostile. It means he wants to be heard. That's hostile. You aren't running your mouth. You're listening. Mm-hmm. It's nervousness, right? You comply. You comply. Thank you, Kim. Appreciate that. Craziness. All right. Whatever. 850-771-0049. Let's see here. Coronavirus hospitalizations in the U.S. are down to their lowest level since November 24th. That's according to the COVID tracking project, as sign of improvement in the pandemic or plandemic appear evident across essentially the entire United States. On Thursday, there were 88,668 COVID-19 patients in the U.S. hospitals. It remains well above the height of the spring and summer surges of 2020, but a significant drop from the record high of 132,474 hospitalized on January 6th. The rate of new cases in the U.S. have been declining for weeks and is now averaging just under 120,000 people a day for the first time since November the 5th. It's down. It's down. Is it because of the vaccines? No. Doctors are reporting a side effect of COVID-19 vaccine that mirrors a symptom of breast cancer. We've been seeing swollen lymph nodes for a couple of weeks now, said Dr. Holly Marshall with University Hospitals Cleveland Medical Center. It's actually a normal response that the body has to the vaccine. It means the body is making antibodies to fight the COVID-19 infection. Marshall said breast radiologists have encountered axillary adenopathy, known as swollen lymph nodes, on screening mammograms of patients who've been vaccinated. It's a side effect that could be mistaken for breast cancer. So usually after a few days, shows up. They said 11% of vaccine recipients experience swollen lymph nodes after one dose, 16% after 2 doses. So there you go. Swollen lymph nodes, mistaken for breast cancer. Sweden plans to roll out a digital vaccination certificate. It's tasked 3 government agencies to develop the infrastructure to handle the relevant personal data. The new certificate should be ready for use before the summer. And they said at a press conference on Thursday. The Nordic country is following similar initiatives to help ease international travel hit by lockdowns to fight the pandemic, even as there are debates over whether limits to the freedom of movement on such grounds should be legal. Such a certificate must be recognized by the countries of the world. For that reason, Sweden is actively working with the WHO and the EU to ensure that the certificates maintain an international standard. European Union leaders agreed at a video conference last month to work on a standardized and interoperable form of proof of vaccination for medical purposes. You love it? Do you love it? Wow. They are pushing this big time. Yeah, Folk Life, go to the ad bin. I welcome it. Why don't you post, Folk Life? Why don't you post? You posted a spam link. Why don't you just come on as your personal self? That's the problem. Do you want the mark of the beast? That's what's coming. That's what's coming. United Nations was roundly ridiculed on Twitter Thursday for offering a list of things that must be normalized for men, the first of which was crying. We've got to normalize crying. The other things that must be normalized for men, according to the UN's entity for gender equality and empowerment of women, included sharing the care, showing emotions, seeking help, and sharing feelings. Yeah. So that's what you must normalize for men: crying, sharing the care, showing emotion, seeking help, sharing. I've added a few more. Shopping for sales. Scrapbooking. Manicures. You've got some terrible cuticles out there. Brazilian waxes. That must be normalized for men. Brazilian waxes. And Hallmark movies. So let us just embrace the femininity, shall we? Mercy. The GOP-controlled Wisconsin General Assembly voted Thursday to repeal Democratic Governor Tony Evers' emergency order that statewide mask mandate, but the achievement did not last long. So they revoked the mask mandate that the governor put in place, and then he signed a new emergency order with a decree requiring masks, and they're threatening to overturn that as well. Voss said ahead of the vote that Republicans are not anti-mask, but cannot allow the governor to exert unlawful powers that he doesn't have, such as requiring masks in private businesses. And the governor does not have that authority. Yeah. We've already normalized crying for men. It's a bunch of Democratic pansies. Wild. Gun control activist David Hogg, this pansy, announced Thursday that he and a partner are starting a company that will prove the progressives can make a better pillow, promising to take on My Pillow, founded by conservative Trump supporter Mike Lindell. Hogg tweeted that he and a software developer, William Legate, are going to prove that progressives can make a better pillow, run a better business, and make the world a better place while doing it. He had, well, the name announced soon. We need to get through the legal processes. Mike isn't going to know what hit him, Hogg told the outlet, saying, this pillow fight is just getting started. The new venture is expected to launch in 6 months or so with the goal of selling 1 million product in the first year. We'd like to do it sooner, but we have strict guidelines on sustainability and, well, of course, reality. So David Hogg is, here's the thing. Here's what the Democrats don't get, the liberals don't get. The Democrats don't get this is so ridiculous. They don't understand business. They don't understand the market. They are starting a pillow company to destroy Mike Lindell. They're not starting a pillow company to make pillows. They're starting a pillow company because they hate Mike Lindell. That is not a business model. Do you understand that? Mike Lindell saw a need and he filled the need. David Hogg just doesn't like Mike Lindell, and that's why he's starting a pillow company. That's not a sustainable model. Yeah, it's so dumb. But David Hogg is not a bright kid. He likes to think he is. He's not intelligent. Woof. He also said Thursday on MSNBC, The Beat with Ari Melber, that it's terrifying that conspiracy theorists and white supremacists are no longer the fringe, but becoming the majority in the Republican Party. Have you looked at the Democratic Party? Have you looked at that? Weird. Jeff says, I still believe a vast majority of women want the traditional man. Takes out the trash, kills spiders, keeps the vehicles maintained. Yeah. No. But we've got to have everybody kind of like a male employee in Express. I support Mike Lindell. Now, I don't have anything against Mike Lindell. I don't care for the pillow. I just don't. But I'm glad people like it. People buy the crap out of it. That's fine with me. I'm good with that. I like it. David Hogg is the fringe. David Hogg is the fringe. He is the outlier. So there you go. A father and his 11-year-old transgender child have collaborated to craft a swimwear line for trans children. According to a Thursday BuzzFeed report, Jamie Alexander and his 11-year-old child, Ruby, who both live in Canada, created Rubies, which is a brand that has form-fitting clothes for trans girls. The brand includes swimwear, underwear, and more, all intent on shaping the appearance of non-binary bodies. Alexander told BuzzFeed that Ruby's transgender journey began when the child was just 3 years old. Here is Ruby talking about her line. Where is that crazy video of this weird kid? Here it is. Watch this. If you can. If you can.
Hi, I am Ruby, and I am here to talk to you about the Ruby Shaping Bikini Bottoms. My dad and I designed it to help trans girls and non-binary kids like me feel comfortable swimming and doing other activities that they love. We wanted to design a bikini bottom that looks like a nice normal bottom but is designed just for kids. I am holding in my hand a size 10. As you can see, it is a super high quality bikini. The outside is made of a shaping spandex, and the inside there are 2 layers of mesh that keep everything in place. No need for tucking or large padding in the front. I love
Means it hides your winky.
the pool and often wear it under my leggings. Let's get kids like me back to doing the things that we love. With every package, your kiddo will also get a postcard of support written by me or other allies in our amazing community. Thank you. Have a super awesome day.
And in about 2 years, your voice is going to be very deep, and it's going to be very hard to disguise that. Every girl needs, and I agree, every girl deserve to shine, but not little boys who pretend they're girls. Just saying. Just saying. Ruby's relationship with girls' clothing and shoes as she navigated her gender identity may have started as early as 3 years old. You think that was prompted by a parent? The father explained that the child was just 4 years old. Ruby would spend more time at the beach crafting a towel into a flowing skirt rather than playing in the water or building castles in the sand. But by 5 years old, Alexander told the outlet, Ruby was obsessed by princesses. By 3rd grade, it seemed apparent to Ruby and Alexander that the child was ready to transition. What decisions do you let a 3rd grader make? What decisions do you let a 3rd grader make? Do you let them make all the decisions about what is best for them? No. There should have been a better example. That it doesn't say anything about the mother. It just has it just has the father in the picture, evidently. Ruby needs therapy now, not the future. Ruby needs therapy now. And that is abuse by that father. Yes. Take the kids from him. That is abuse. That is abuse. Mercy, people. But they've got a great clothing line. To hide your pointer is what it said. Great. Absolutely wonderful. Don't you feel good about the future of our children? What? Yeah. Yep. It is a war. It is a war. Wildness. House Democrats took the unprecedented step of removing Rep. Marjorie Taylor Greene from Georgia off of her committee assignments for espousing violence and conspiracy theories on social media before she was elected to Congress in November by 70% of her district. 70% put her in there. They're calling for Cruz and others to step down. Let me tell you something. You talk about trying to override the will of the people. 70% of the people put her in there. Think about that. The 230 to 199 vote was bipartisan, with 11 Republicans joining with all Democrats to oust Greene from the committee. They should be targeted. Now, I don't agree with what she said. I don't. But I agree with her freedom to say it. They are shutting you down. If she wants to think that 9/11 was conspiracy, and some of you may too, that's fine. Nobody has to agree with that. But this whole thing is about wiping out anybody who has a differing opinion. The party of Lincoln is becoming the party of violent conspiracy theories. That's according to Jim McGovern from Massachusetts. Serving on a committee isn't a right, it's a privilege. When someone encourages violence against a member, they should lose that privilege, he said. Well, that should go also to Maxine Waters, don't you think? That should also apply to every Democrat, but they don't. It should apply to Ilhan Omar and Tlaib. Yeah, but it doesn't. They kept Liz Cheney in the leadership role, yeah. Now, again, Sharon, you say the GOP has problems. Do you mean the party in general, or do you mean in Washington, D.C.? Because if you say in Washington, D.C., I agree. But if you mean the general party, it does not. The rhinos are exposing themselves. Need to have, yes, they do. Yes, they do. She also apologized and said she was wrong. Yeah, I know. They take it and twist it. They do take it and twist it. It should apply to Pelosi as well. Absolutely. But they don't. They don't. It only works one way for them. All right, this is Matt Gaetz. And he has, in his committee that he's on, he requested that the Pledge of Allegiance be said. This is how that exchange went.
And I want to extend a welcome to the new committee members. I'm grateful to be back on this august committee, and I understand and appreciate the significance and importance of the work that we do. And I just think it would be nice if, in the spirit of national unity and national pride, which I know we all aspire to do to a greater extent, that at the beginning of each meeting, the chair or one of the designees of the chair would have the opportunity to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. We're all aware that in these times, it's important for the country to see members of Congress working together on some things. And while I know that we can deal with divisive issues in the committee, it would be my hope that we could start every committee with a great unifying patriotic moment. I yield back.
The gentleman yields back. I recognize myself to speak in opposition to the amendment. It's unnecessary. The House begins every day with the Pledge of Allegiance. We're covered by that. There's no necessity to say the Pledge of Allegiance twice during the same day. So
I find it odd that he says we are covered by that. We're covered by that, by the Pledge of Allegiance. We do it once a day. We're covered by that. Covered by it. So anyway, there you go. Jerry Nadler. What a freak job. What else is going on? The vote-a-rama in the Senate that started about 2:30 yesterday in the afternoon concluded shortly before 6 a.m. this morning. After a marathon process in which Republicans forced Democrats to take votes on tough issues for more than 15 hours. The Senate adopted a budget resolution for coronavirus relief, 51-50. Vice President Harris casting the tie-breaking vote. It's not a final bill, but allows the Senate to proceed toward the final bill under the budget reconciliation rules, which would let Democrats pass a coronavirus stimulus plan without help from Republicans if their caucus remains united. Senate Republicans were taking advantage of the Senate procedure that allows them to propose a plethora of amendments to the budget. And what it was designed to do was to make them take tough stands and put them on the record. Among the issues Republicans forced were efforts to support the Remain in Mexico policy from the Trump administration, opposed the blocking of the Keystone Pipeline by President Biden, opposed banning fracking, opposed the increase of the federal minimum wage during the pandemic, and more. So it's just passed. It just passed the House, and it needs to go to the Senate. So there you go. They're going to ramrod everything. Everything. They're going to ramrod it. Welcome to unity. Welcome to unity. Are you loving it yet? Are you feeling the unity burn? Mm-hmm. Life is good. Life is great. The president stirred controversy when he made the initial claim of being shot down over a decade ago and later had to walk it back. But Biden the other day, he made a declaration yesterday, I guess, America, when he said that he had been shot at. He says, I was with some of you in the green zone when we've been shot at. I get it. There's no proof. There's no proof he was shot at. He walked it back in 2007. He lied again. He's a liar. Joe Biden is a liar. Do you understand that? He doesn't know the truth. He makes it up. We were shot at. I was there with you when you were shot at. No, you weren't. Just like you weren't arrested in South Africa trying to see Nelson Mandela. You weren't. You're a liar. Joe Biden is a liar. He doesn't have Alzheimer's. I mean, he may have that, but he's a liar. Alzheimer's, here's the thing. Alzheimer's, you forget what things are. So I've got this thing on my wrist, but I can't remember what it's called. That's Alzheimer's. This Timex is really a Rolex. That's a lie. That's the difference. Yeah, he is a liar. And you're going to see, well, I don't care if Joe Biden does come and ban this page. He doesn't know how Facebook works. He doesn't know. He doesn't operate Facebook. He cannot use his remote. Someone has to do the remote for him. He's lied so much, he can't keep up with what he lied about. You thought what was Clinton? The liar? Clinton was a liar. He was a convicted liar. There you go. It deserves caps. It does deserve caps. So there you go. Liar, 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 liar. What else? The chief of staff for President Joe Biden says the administration is looking at sending masks to every household in the U.S. Probably going to use the same thing that the addresses that they use for the mail-in ballots. Yeah. They want to get Americans to mask up over the first 100 days of the Biden presidency. NBC News reported Thursday that the administration was batting around the idea of mailing out masks. Here's that video. Hold on to your brains, kids. This will melt it.
On discussions to perhaps send masks to every American. Is that happening, or can you tell us, where the discussions are on that?
Yeah, Lester, this was an idea that really came up last year in the Trump administration. The public health agencies recommended it. The president vetoed it for some reason. We want to get this back on track. We're looking at what can be done to quickly do this with the mask supplies that we have. I hope in the next few days or next week, we may be able to announce some progress on this. But of course, this is part overall of a plan to try to get every American masked up in these first 100 days. We're going to do whatever we can to make masks more available to people, to increase the supply of masks, and of course, to get people to wear those masks.
So they're going to depend on the Postal Service, number one, to get out masks to everybody, which in its own weird way is kind of funny. But I think that every American ought to write on that thing, return to sender. Don't take those masks. When they come, write return to sender and send them back. They are trying to be heroic and brave, Jeff. They lie about it all the time. Brian Williams from NBC got fired or demoted and moved to MSNBC, where 3 people could watch him for lying about being attacked. So there you go. Trump did veto the mask mail out because it was stupid. But if you get one in the mail, write return to sender and send it back. Sure, there's such a shortage. Most stores will give it free if you ask. I know. But this is the dumb thing about the mask. They don't work. They don't work. It is a waste of taxpayer money, but they're Democrats. They'll just tax you more. It's okay. You're paying for it. You're paying for it. 850-771-0049. Wow. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin has ordered a military-wide stand-down to address extremism within the ranks. The 60-day stand down was prompted by reports of service members and military veterans who participated in the storming of the U.S. Capitol building on January 6th. Now, did they participate in the riot or the rally? Austin conducted a Wednesday morning meeting with all military service secretaries and service chiefs, including the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Mark Miley, and vice chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, John Hyten, following the meeting. The defense secretary ordered a 60-day stand down to confront extremism in the United States military. Then why don't you start with the commander-in-chief? That's the biggest extremist. Within the next 60 days, each of the military services will take time out of the daily duties to discuss the problem of extremism and extremist ideology. As military leaders seek to get a better sense of how to try to root it out. Now, let me tell you what's coming. That transgenderism is normalized. It's not a mental problem. It is a mental problem, but they're going to decide that it's not a mental problem. They've decided that it's okay to be transgender and be in the military. You don't have a problem with your noggin. But if you support Trump, you've got a mental problem and you've got to get out. That's what it's coming down to. Ooh. Wild. Absolutely wild. Get ready, kids. Mitt Romney, who is a socialist from Utah, will introduce a plan to create a new welfare program Thursday, granting parents of young children $350 per child per month in perpetuity. Not just during the coronavirus. Romney announced his proposal, called the Family Security Act, in a news release that touted the program as a new national commitment to American families by modernizing antiquated federal policies into a monthly cash benefit. American families are facing greater financial strain, worsened by the COVID-19 pandemic and marriage at birth rates at an all-time low. On top of that, we've not comprehensively reformed our family support system in nearly 3 decades, and our changing economy has left millions of families behind. Now is the time to renew our commitment to families, to help them meet the challenges they face as they take on the most important work any of us ever will do, raising our society's children. Have you not seen what the public school system has done to our children? The proposal offers a path toward greater security for American families by consolidating the many complicated programs to create monthly cash benefit for them without adding to the deficit. Romney's plan calls for the child tax credit to be abolished and replaced with a flat monthly government payment of $350 per child to families with children's ages 0 to 5, $250 per month for children ages 6 to 17. The program is available to every child with a valid Social Security number, as well as expecting parents with 4 months of their child's due date. Well, you're a racist, Mitt Romney. Not only is he a socialist, he's a racist. You want to know why? Because he didn't include, if you have to do it with Social Security number, you can't include illegal aliens. You got to give it to families with illegal that are illegals for their children. Can you imagine how much money they'd rack up? You're a racist, Mitt Romney. You're a socialist and a racist. What a crazy piece of trash. Yeah. It goes to buying votes. It goes to buying votes. Just like welfare does. It's welfare. That's welfare. Oh, yeah. Get out of here. But yeah. So Mitt Romney has resigned effectively from being a senator. it's time for the good people of Utah to go, nah, he doesn't represent us. I started to say anymore, but he never did. He never did represent him. Mitt Romney is an opportunist. He's a terrible human being. I used to think he was a good moral man. He is an opportunist. And he needs to go. He needs to be gone. Willie says, Mitt plans sound like a China policy. Yeah. I don't know if he's paying people to have children, but he is not, he's not a Republican. For sure. I don't know what that is. Oh, handing over customer data. Yes. So, Donna, I watched this last night, or Deborah, I'm sorry. Okay, Deborah. Yeah, I watched that last night on Tucker. And what happened was Bank of America gave information to the government, private information on their customers about who was in Washington, D.C. in January 6th through the 8th, who that was there, got flights afterward. What did they buy while they were in Washington, D.C.? Did they go shop at a gun store if they bought a T-shirt or whatever it was? They gave private information and names to the government so that they could check people like you, people like me out. Good, Folk Live. I'm glad you did. Thank you. I appreciate that. He's not a Republican. If you're talking about Mitt is not a Republican. He never has been. Mitt has never. When you in your state, you start out before Obamacare, you had Romney Care. You're not a Republican. Good. Nice. I'm glad you did. Yeah. Use my name. If the machines are not rigged, Utah will not win again. Yeah. Well, he's not Republican. He's not Republican. All right. 850-771-0049. Boy, my gosh. So look at this. I want you to see what they're doing. Oh, there's one more thing I want to kind of share with you. This came up. Whoops. And I want to. Former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. He reacted Thursday to President Biden's declaration that America is back. Biden stood up and said, America is back. We got rid of the Trump years. And Mike says, do you mean back to when ISIS controlled a caliphate in Syria that was the size of Britain? I hope not. President Trump and our team took that down. Biden made his first major foreign policy address at the State Department earlier on Thursday, vowing to course correct our foreign policy and better unite our democratic values with our diplomatic leadership, and adding America cannot afford to be absent any longer from the world stage. He wants to get us back into the one world government. Yeah, America's back to being the socialist nonsense that Obama had started. Thanks for that. When Trump had rescued us from that, Trump got us back to being America. Yeah, have that conversation. Mittens is a Republican name only. He's got that on the moniker, but he's not Republican. Fixing foreign policy, first thing he does is tick off the Saudis. Oh, and the Israel. He torques them off as well. It's going to be great. We're looking forward to a great 4 years if he makes it that long. I give 6 months. 6 months. We will see. But this guy is not about himself. Joe Biden has zero brainwaves. He reads off little cards because he's not intelligent. He's not an intelligent man. He never was. He never was an intelligent man. And now he's worse. And they are using him. And he will be gone in 6 months. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. And Kamala Harris will step up. A woman who isn't black. She's not black. A woman who never got a single vote. Let me rephrase that. A single percentage point in any of the primaries that she was in. She dropped out. She was one of the first ones to drop out because no one wanted her. And she's next in line for the presidency. Great. Great. Nice. Absolutely one of the dumbest human beings to ever stand in the presidency, and then one of the biggest frauds to ever be a vice president. We got a great 4 years to look at it. That's what mail-in ballots get you. When you bring them in after the election. Whatever. She did sleep her way to the top. That is absolutely the truth. She got where she is by giving it up. And that is not, no. I respect the position. I am not respecting the human being. You have to earn that. She has not earned that. And so that's the way that goes. The office I support. Absolutely. But not when you get it by nefarious ways. Yeah, he has declining cognitive abilities. That doesn't stop him from being a liar. But there you go. Look, kids, it's the weekend. We are heading into the weekend, and I encourage you to have a great time. Relax, unhook from this stuff, and just look forward to a great weekend. We will see you again on Monday for another edition, I hope. And it'll be okay. It will be fine. Yeah, you're welcome. And God bless you. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Go to church this weekend. Go to worship. And you get out of worship what you put into worship. And so we encourage you to do so. Thank you so much. God bless.